Welcome to FiceFilm. Today we will explain the 2015 superhero film Avengers Age of Ultron. Warning, this video contains spoilers. Enjoy. The Avengers, Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, Thor, Bruce Banner, Natasha Romanoff, and Clint Barton invade a Hydra stronghold led by Baron Wolfgang von Strucker, who has been conducting human experiments with the scepter once wielded by Loki. They come across two of Strucker's experiments, the Maximoff twins Pietro and Wanda, who have incredible speed and can manipulate minds and project energy. Rogers apprehends Strucker, while Stark receives with the scepter after Wanda instills in him a fearful image of a grim possible future. Tony and Steve manage to breach the fortress. Meanwhile, Tony assassinates Dr. Liz, Strucker's top lieutenant, as he tries to erase information related to their operation. While Tony has J.A.R.V.I.S download the data for storage, he discovers a secret laboratory beneath the stronghold where Strucker's people have been disassembling a Leviathan, as well as the scepter, which is sitting in plain sight. Tony steps up to the scepter, not realizing Wanda has slipped inside the lab. She goes up behind him and casts a spell on him, implanting a vision in his mind. Tony sees his teammates as dead or dying, while the Chitauri launch a broader invasion on Earth. He snaps out of the visions after a few moments and discovers it was all a dream. With Strucker now in NATO custody, Hydra has taken a significant hit, and the organization is in disarray. Tony and Bruce return to New York with a scepter, having persuaded Thor to hold off on returning it to Asgard for a few days. Stark and Banner, who are now at the Avengers Tower, the team's headquarters, find an artificial intelligence inside the scepter's gem and are secretly preparing to utilize it to finish Stark's Ultron global defense program. They finally leave for a victory party to celebrate recapturing the scepter after numerous unsuccessful attempts. They are unaware that the program begins to operate. Despite Tony's work not having advanced that far, Ultron searches the internet and quickly concludes that the only way to preserve Earth is to remove humans, which he sees as the primary cause of the world's calamity. J.A.R.V.I.S attempts to persuade Ultron, but the more powerful AI appears to destroy him. And recognizing the necessity for a body, he downloads himself into the Iron Legion armors. Ultron strikes the Avenger as they unwind after their celebrations under the guise of one of Stark's robots' drones from the Iron Legion. After escaping with the scepter, Ultron upgrades his basic form and creates an army of robotic drones using the materials in Strucker's headquarters in Sokovia. He meets and recruits the Maximoff twins after killing Strucker, who holds Stark accountable for the deaths of their parents as a result of weaponry made by his business. Ultron, accompanied by the twins, and an army of drones raid various former Hydra bases in search of resources, killing anybody who opposes and using Wanda to pacify everyone else. When he kills Strucker in his cell and writes the word peace on the wall in Strucker's blood, word of his actions reaches the Avengers. The crew discover that Ultron is interested in purchasing vibranium from an arms dealer named Ulysses Claude, who stole a substantial quantity of it many years ago from the African country of Wakanda. Ultron and the Maximoffs board Klaus's ship, with the twins leading the way to strong-arm Klaus. Klaus is unfazed by the twins' intimidations and wants to speak with their new boss, causing Ultron to unveil himself. In exchange for Klaus's stockpile, Ultron transmits a large sum of money to Klaus's many offshore bank accounts. However, the deal fails when Klaus recalls a statement Ultron uses as something Tony used to say to him a long time ago and attempts to back out. Ultron slashes off Klaus's left arm in a fit of anger. The Avenger ambushed them at that point. Ultron attacks Tony as the other fights the twins, Ultron's sentry drones, and Klaus's henchmen. The struggle is cut short as Wanda hexes Thor, Steve, and Natasha, rendering them with strange hallucinations. Thor finds himself in Asgard at a terrible party where a blinded Heimdall happily says that they are all dead in a terrifying way. Natasha recalls her training in the Red Room, where she had to execute a bound and blindfolded individual as well as endure sterile surgery. Steve dreams of meeting Peggy Carter again at a party where she invites him to dance and celebrate the end of the war. Clint is the only one who escapes being hypnotized by shooting Wanda with an arrow that adheres to her forehead and shocks her, forcing her to flee with Pietro. Banner, as the Hulk, rampages through a nearby city until Stark stops him with his Hulkbuster armor. The team is forced into hiding at Barton's safe house after a worldwide uproar over the subsequent destructions and the anxiety sparked by Wanda's hallucinations. There, they meet Barton's wife and kids, who had been kept a secret from all of them except Romanoff. Thor leaves to speak with his friend Dr. Erik Selvig on the implications of an apocalyptic future he glimpsed in his hallucination. while Romanoff and Banner explore the prospect of departing together after realizing their mutual attraction. The appearance of Nick Fury, who convinces them to devise a plan to stop Ultron, encourages them to mend bridges. Observing Ultron's affinity for the human body despite its limits, Bruce concludes Ultron intends to utilize the vibranium to construct a new body composed of synthetic tissues similar to that used by Cho to treat Clint's wounds. Ultron forces the Avengers' friend and ally Dr. Helen Cho to build a new body for him using her synthetic tissue science, vibranium, and the Scepter's gem. Wanda is able to read Ultron's mind when he uploads himself into the synthetic body and discover his plot to obliterate humanity. Fearful, the Maximoffs attack Ultron and team up with Rogers to distract him, while Romanoff and Barton rescue the synthetic corpse. Ultron, on the other hand, captures Romanoff, while Barton grudgingly returns the body to Stark and Banner at Avengers Towers, accompanied by Rogers and the twins. When Stark secretly installs J.A.R.V.I.S, who is still functioning after hiding from Ultron deep within the internet, into the synthetic body, the Avengers battle among themselves. Thor reappears to assist with the body's activations, saying that the stone is on its brow, one of the 6 Infinity Stones, the most powerful items in existence, was part of his vision. This vision and the Maximoff twins accompany the Avengers back to Sokovia, where Ultron has used the leftover vibranium to build a contraption to lift a significant portions of the capital city upwards, planning to crash it into the ground and trigger worldwide extinction. Banner saves Romanoff, who pushes him into a pit to rouse the Hulk for the battle. When Fury mentions that Ultron has not gained access to any nation's nuclear launch codes, Tony becomes intrigued. It's evident that Ultron is being held back by an unseen foe. To find out who this is, Tony flies to a Nexus Internet Center in Oslo, Norway for leads, and discover Ultron is interacting with J.A.R.V.I.S, who is still alive and well. Ultron visits Cho's laboratory in Seoul, South Korea, and demands that she combine the vibranium with synthetic tissues from her regeneration's cradle to create a more powerful body for himself, utilizing the Scepter's gem as its primary power source. Ultron employs the Scepter to hypnotize Cho in order to get her assistance. Wanda becomes intrigued when Ultron's consciousness is transferred into the synthetic body, and Cho inserts the gem into its forehead, recognizing she would now be able to read Ultron's thoughts. The Avengers fight Ultron's drone army, while Fury comes in a helicopter with Maria Hill, War Machine, and other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to evacuate people. While the other Avengers assist in the escape, Wanda accepts the duty of protecting the machine from Ultron's drones. In a frantic attempt to halt the evacuations, Ultron snatches the Avengers' Quinjet and proceeds on a strafing run. Pietro is killed while protecting Barton from Ultron's gunfire. The Hulk forces Ultron out of the Quinjet, leaving him open to a vengeful Wanda, who abandons her stations to destroy Ultron's primary body. This permits one of his drones to trigger the gadget. The city starts to fall, but Stark and Thor overload the machine and destroy it. With the Vision swooping in to save Wanda, the Hulk, hesitant to jeopardize Romanoff's safety by accompanying her, flees in the Quinjet, while the Vision confronts and destroys Ultron's last remaining body. Later, the Avengers build a new base, which is led by Fury, Hill, Cho, and Selvig. Barton returns to his family. Thor travels to Asgard to discover more about the forces he accuses of manipulating recent events, and Stark also departs from the Avengers. Rogers and Romanoff are preparing to teach the new Avengers squad, which includes Jim Rhodes, the Vision, Falcon, and Wanda. The end.